Great.
Okay.
Bumper.
Stand by.
I did want to do them fast.
Say good morning to Cher. Introduce yourself.
Good morning, Cher. This is Bobbie Wygant.
Hi.
Fort Worth.
Hi, Bobbie.
I think that was just a mic check.
Okay. Can you hear me?
You bet.
Okay.
Ready to go?
I used to live not too far from you guys.
Okay. Where?
Pardon?
Where?
Burleson.
You're kidding.
Would I kid you?
All right. Stand by. Cher, what is this now? You say you used to live in Burleson?
Yes.
What were you doing there?
I don't know. What is anybody doing in Burleson?
I mean, was this when you were a kid or when?
Yes, it was when I was real little. I had two great aunts that lived there. They were Did and Ethel Southall. And as a matter of fact, they made our house into a barbecue restaurant and it burned down.
Well, that's sad. Just
Yes.
think if it were still there, they could charge admission. Cher
No, they were
grew up
dead by
here.
then.
Hey, listen, Cher, you are really wonderful in mask.
Thank you.
I just enjoyed you tremendously. But I kept thinking, you were playing Rusty at a time in her life when her lifestyle would be a turnoff to many people into the biking and the drugs and so forth and so on. So I'm wondering, how much did you soften the character to make her appealing somewhat to the audience?
I think what I did was we didn't change what she did, the actual men and the drugs. I just tried to make her more likable while she was doing it. I don't think that we really softened her actions. We just softened the act of her doing it.
Was there any consideration on your part about, oh gosh, I want to play this, but maybe this wouldn't be a good thing for me?
I usually don't think that far ahead. Looking back on it, I don't know why I didn't think about it, but at the time it just seemed unimportant.
Do you think the fact that they changed the music from Bruce Springsteen to Bob Seger hurt the film overall?
I don't really think so. I mean, it's just my opinion, but I'm very close to the film, as close, if not closer than a lot of other people. And I care about the film a lot, and I don't see that there's a huge, huge difference.
Did you take sides in that at all, Cher?
Yes, I did. I did want Bruce Springsteen. Bruce Springsteen was the person that was in the back of our minds from the beginning of the film. It's like now if I ask you to see the movie with another woman playing the part of me, even if she did the job, you would still kind of see me as the mother. So it's hard. We always thought of it. I went as far as I could go. I mean, I talked with Peter. I called the head of MCA. I called Frank Price. I called everyone. And there was, in the end, nothing that I could do. I was pretty powerless.
And it was over money, wasn't it?
Yeah. They wanted, 25% of the cassette rights. I don't think that was right.
Cher, some research that I have been given says that you were or are dyslexic. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. Now, has that ever been a problem for you as an actress?
No. It was only a problem for me in school, It's sometimes a problem for me in my daily life, but I kind of get by with it, I'm so aware of it, and I don't pay any attention. Of course, like if I'm driving down the street and I look up at signs, I see something totally different than what's really there.
You ever turn left when you should go right?
No, it's not those kind of signs. Like I look up at a billboard and see, make up my own sign.
Well, that might be kind of fun sometimes.
It is.
But as far as doing this role, did that make you relate more to Rusty and to Rocky because of this dyslexia?
I don't really think so, because I never really think of it as a problem. It was a problem when I was in school, but as an adult, it really doesn't bother me. I don't think of it as any kind of a handicap at all. It's just something that I have, and it doesn't really bother me. I kind of think, though, that even though Rocky's problem was so, a million billion times greater, he did not think of himself as handicapped. He just thought of himself as Rocky.
When you were a child, reports say that you used to do plays for your family and put on plays. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So you used to put on these plays, and then you went into a singing and a music career before you actually now have embarked on this acting career. So from childhood, was it always your dream then to be an actress first?
Yes. When I was about 5 years old, I think, I went to see Dumbo. And that was like the first time I ever thought, whatever is inside this dark room is really what's happening. I don't care that much for what's outside, but inside it's great. And as I got older, different movies would be really important, and it was a lot more appealing to me than the outside world, which I didn't really get along in that well. So I thought, that's what I'm going to be.
What kinds of plays did you do as a child?
They were terrible. I used to write little sketches for my sister and I, and then we would hang like blankets around and make a little stage and make my mother sit there and watch us. I'm sure it was boring, but she laughed like crazy.
Did you try to be funny or dramatic or what?
Both. And we always would play, like, I would play 10 parts. My sister was always the girl, you know, and we would make like long braids and out of yarn and things like that. And I don't even know what we were doing.
But it was fun.
Yes.
Do you worry, Cher, since Mask is your first starring role, do you worry that if it's not a big hit, that it will hurt your career?
You know, it's not that I really don't care, but I really don't care. I wanted to do this movie. I didn't really care if it was going to be a hit or not. I mean, of course, I would rather have people go and see it because I think it's really worthwhile. But when I took the part, a lot of people said, you know, this is a really strange woman. People might not like you for the way this woman is. And the better you play her, the more they might not like you. And it didn't, I just felt that it was important to me to play this woman, and I wasn't really concerned that much how people reacted to it.
Cher, what was your reaction the very first time that you saw Eric Stoltz in his full makeup?
Oh, I thought he was really beautiful. I had had the pictures of Rocky for a real long time, and I had seen Eric as Eric, and the first time I ever actually saw him as Rocky, it was kind of like seeing a friend, you know, someone that you knew about but that you'd never met. But when you met them, you felt like you'd known them for a long time.
As you look at your own children, do you sort of, is it there but for the grace of God, or do you just try not to think about those kinds of things in relation to your own children?
I think, you know, I think that all mothers look at their own children and think, oh, please don't let anything happen to them. I'll be really great. I'll be a good person. Just don't let anything happen to my kids. But I also think, you know, the thing that's more important to me than that is the knowledge that when Rusty Dennis looked at her son, he was beautiful. And that's what mothers think about their children, and that's why this movie is so important. Not because my children are so beautiful, and that's why I love them. It's that mothers love their children no matter what they look like.
Rusty, of course, was pretty heavily into drugs at that time, was she not?
Yeah, she was very heavy into him.
Was it this situation that kind of drove her to that, do you think?
I think that she was a woman that was predisposed, and I think that this helped her. I don't think that Rocky made her use drugs. I think that her own frustrations brought her to that point, and he just emphasized it.
As you have talked with her now, what is her feeling? Is she remorseful about how she lived her life then, or how does she feel?
Not at all. She really is not. I really respect her. If she was remorseful, I don't know how much respect I would have for her, because she's really honest. You know, she lived her life. She knows it was stupid, but she doesn't try and hide behind, you know, any kind of shield, any kind of, you know, shield like, oh, I did it because of this. She did it because she did it, and she feels that it was stupid and she wished she hadn't done it, but she is responsible for it.
Cher, have you heard of any other cases of this genetic disorder?
Only one, and that was after I made the movie, and it was here in New York. After I did the Donahue show, a woman came up to me and said that there was a girl in her neighborhood who had this disease.
So it really is extremely rare, is it not?
Very rare. I mean, very, very rare.
And do they...
And also, people don't live to be, 6 years old when they have this disease.
And it has nothing to do with the sort of thing that was wrong with the Elephant Man.
No, it's a totally different disease.
Yes. Do you have any fear about the two movies being compared?
You know, you could have so many fears that it just finally gets in your way. I just, I don't know what's going to happen with this movie. I hope people go and see it because it's a really worthwhile movie. It makes you feel something really good. It makes you know, no matter what you hear on television and the news about parents mistreating their children, which is certainly, prevalent in this country, that still there are parents all over that really care about their children. And I think, even if you're not a mother, you had one so that you can relate to this film.
Well, Cher, again, I say to you, it's a magnificent performance, and I wish you the very best of success with it because it certainly deserves it. And the next time I drive through Burleson, Texas, I'll honk twice for Cher.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, bumper.